Hey there, folks. James Hilliard back with you. Another Zunesis podcast. This is part of a three-part series that we're doing looking at Zerto, which is a Hewlett-Packard Enterprise company, and really how Zerto fits into helping you recover data when something goes awry. And so we're going to dive a bit deeper here. First conversation really went at a high level. We talked about some ransomware, and we talked about really high level how Zerto plays into helping recover the data. We're going to get a little more deeper into that here today. Helping us with that, Gene Torres on board. He's a senior solutions engineer with Zerto, and Michael Goslin is on board as well. He's the CTO at Zunesis. So glad to have both guys back with us here today. Gene, wanted to start with you for this conversation, and it's really kind of explaining the whole experience of a disaster scenario, right? The idea of recovery, of backup, and the importance of having really a go-to one continuous software experience instead of kind of cobbling something together. And Zerto brings all that in one neat package, easy to use. But give me an idea of why that should be important for customers ultimately to be thinking about.
So thanks. As more businesses are adopting, a hybrid or multi-cloud strategy, this adds additional complexity all around in many areas like security, administration, monitoring, data protection, etc. So having that continuous software experience across all those places really reduces that complexity, aids to bringing more efficiency, giving you the same experience no matter where you're protecting your data. And it's just not protecting that data. You have to test your recovery plans. We allow you to do it quickly. It looks the same everywhere you go. Instead of having, this tool does this thing over here, this one does this here, this one's great in this area, but they don't work together. So.
And I think of a disaster can obviously be any number of things. It could be things like ransomware attacks and phishing and things like that. It could be, I happen to be in California. We have a little thing called fires more frequently. So it could be impacting a physical location. Whatever the disaster is, I know that when I'm involved in something that starts getting that heartbeat racing a little bit more, that I have to spring into action, I don't always remember everything. And so to that point, to have software that is the same type of interfaces, same type of flow, and not have to remember, wait, what am I doing here? Did I click the wrong thing here? That sounds like it was the big focus for Zerto to bring that, understanding that people don't always perform at their highest when the disasters are happening.
Yeah, there's a lot of stress, you're under the gun.
Absolutely. Michael, you have probably in your travels through the Zunesis customer base had those folks that have gone through some disaster scenarios and they've been losing data or worried about that or not sure how they were going to recover it. That mindset, I mean, has that panic's been there? You've experienced that, I'm sure.
Yeah, and that's what one of the advantages of Zerto is. It does provide that uniform process to back up and replicate data, simplifies that recovery process as well. But there are other things we could be doing that when you talk security specifically, people tend to concentrate on firewalls. And especially in the SMB market, they are really concentrating on firewalls and they don't really look at the other options or other things you should be doing for security reasons. One is isolating your backup data, hardening your environment, setting data encryption. It's surprising how many people don't consider that for securing data. And simple things, believe it or not, I've walked through several customers and there's nobody sitting at a PC and its screen's not locked. I could sit down and do whatever. I mean, so even down to the simple things of locking screens, it's just things people don't take into consideration.
Yeah, it seems like it's changing, but a lot of the conversations I have echo what you said there. It's still kind of putting up those castle walls, but thinking that'll be enough. And then they probably won't get inside, or maybe my business isn't that interesting. But Michael, truly these days, you could be a small business, but if you're doing business with a larger org, you could be the actual target because they know you might be the easier inroad to them, and it is some of these basics, like going back to the basics, right, and focusing on the basics, not just the newest shiniest security or recovery tool, but also do some good basic compute. What's one of the things, how do you Michael and team at Zunesis help? Do you focus a lot on kind of those basics as well when you're doing initial conversations and evaluating where a company's security posture is?
We try to, yeah. So a lot of times we will focus on the firewalls like everybody else, but then we try to broaden that conversation into what are you doing about hardening your environment? What are you doing, about data encryption? What are you doing about recovery of data if you do get hit? How do you recover that? And do you have a strategy? Do you test your strategy or process? So it's all those kinds of questions. We try to get that conversation at a larger level if we can.
And Gene, you know that the Zunesis team, when it comes to starting to talk about recovering that data, that's where they start bringing up Zerto and they start having that conversation with their customer base. I thought this would be a good opportunity in our series to give you just a few moments. And again, folks, not a super technical dive, but Gene, for you to lay out a couple of the kind of technical differentiators and why Zerto is one of those technologies that should be top of the list that folks can be evaluating to determine if it's really going to help them move forward, be more secure, get that data back, et cetera. So take us through that for a few minutes.
Yeah, so I feel our biggest differentiator versus our competitors is that we continuously protect data as it changes 24/7. We don't wait 24 hours to protect your data, 6 hours, 8 hours. There are no backup windows to contend with and no impact to production. So basically, we get your data where you need it, when you need it, or before you even need it. In the case of data migration, you need to do this next week, start it now. It's like the baking show, right? You go to a commercial, you come back, you're pulling the ham out of the oven. It's there, we're booting up. Same thing with disaster recovery. Your data is already ready to go. It's waiting there. And in the aspect of recovery, it's not pull those tapes from last night, let's restore them and find out that, this isn't what I needed. Now I got to, extend that recovery time, go get the other tapes, try it again. With Zerto, it's as easy as this isn't what I need, roll back, start over, 4 clicks, select another checkpoint 5 seconds ago, and bring it up. Is this what I need? Rinse, repeat as you need to.
Sometimes people hear that. I think you just said, 4 clicks, hit this and boom, you're. And some people give a little, yeah, I've kind of heard that before. What's the learning curve? What has the feedback been? And what are some, maybe it's an aha moment reaction that you've experienced, Gene, when showing this to a team and they're like, wait a second, you told us this and it actually does this.
That is my favorite part, is when everything that we say, so we can PowerPoint you to death, but everything we say in PowerPoint, I'll walk through the exact same thing in a demo. And, a lot of times it's just seeing it is enough to believe it. Like, you're talking this game and we need to see it actually in action. So we show it to them. They're like, okay, it did exactly what you said, exactly the same way. So that, I think, is just, life-changing, at least for me too. When I was a customer, when I first saw Zerto, I was like, why isn't anybody using this? Because it was painful to go on, yearly trips to do DR testing and coming back and say, no, that didn't work.
So yeah, now what are we going to do? Now you knew your next 6 months worth of projects, right? That we're facing there. Michael, again, you talk about it. What's the process look like if you are talking to a customer? They're like, okay, I hear this, but kind of want to see it. How do you walk people through the process? Do you do demos? Do you do proofs of concept? What's that look like, kind of to move people forward on their Zerto journey?
Yeah, I'm going to repeat a little bit of what Gene said, that doing a presentation is one thing. It introduces them, and then doing a demo gets them really interested. But doing the POC on their site, on their equipment, their VMs, once it's installed, we very seldom have people remove it. They're sold at that point. And because they're seeing how easy it was to install, how easy it is to work with, how easy it is to recover. That's what we want to get to, is that proof of concept.
Copy. Well, folks, one of the ways that you can get to that proof of concept is reaching out to the Zunesis team. So reach them online, zunesis.com, Zunesis.com, zunesis.com. And then phone number I want to share with all of you. It's 720-221-5200, 221-5200. My thanks to Michael and Gene again for this conversation. Again, part of a series, so continue to watch what other content we'll be bringing your way here. Again, Zunesis.com to learn more about Zerto. And with that, we'll wrap things up. Folks, appreciate you joining us, and we do look forward to talking to you all down the road.